I'm really coming to appreciate the basic shooters in this era of the Famicom. Many of them are fine but not outstanding games that exist mainly to let you shoot at some targets. There's elegance in that simplicity. They don't need complex systems that take a long time to explain and wrap your head around. Just hit the fire button. And the fact that it requires almost no time at all to make videos about them certainly doesn't hurt either. Naturally, Seicross is based on an arcade game. The title seems to be derived from motocross, though I can't figure out where they pulled "sei" from. The story is oddly depressing. There's an alien invasion, but you don't have any hope of fighting it off. Instead, your people have retreated underground, and your goal is to collect the remaining survivors and get them to a point where you can drop them off. And what that comes down to is shooting your way through 6 stages of terrain. You're driving the nuclear-powered hoverbike Gilga Petra for your mission. And your fuel tanks are limited. You have to run over these nuclear panels on the ground to pick up more fuel for the bike. The only thing that picking up survivors gets you is more points. Also, the feeling of doing a good deed. One of the first and most important things to know in playing Seicross is that you're going to have to deal with a lot of terrain that you'll have to dodge. These formations block your shot and will destroy you if you run into them. However, you can always ram other drivers into those. On later levels, the gaps can get very narrow. So use that grid on the road to make sure that you're lined up properly. You'll often see towers that can shoot at you, trapped behind terrain where you can't get at them. There is a special weapon, though. If you shoot this radar buoy, it drops a star. Picking up that star will give you the power to shoot through obstacles. It's not required, but it is awfully handy. There are other stars that you can pick up that you get by shooting down these weird trees, but those are only worth extra points. In fact, anything else that you see dropped by enemies are just extra points. This guy will spew out another little guy when he's shot. You can shoot the little guy for some more points. And these stations also release more enemies when they're shot. On later stages, you'll encounter some rough road terrain that will make you slide if you try to move up and down over it. It's sometimes accompanied by these tanks, which are the bosses for the stages. If you shoot them enough times, they'll back off and then launch their head at you. Or they can eventually go away on their own. If you reach the end of the stage, then anybody you've picked up is dropped off for some bonus points. And that's really it for Seicross. There's no sequels or spin-offs. The game has a decent reputation in Japan, and I can't really say I disagree with it. The visual style's pretty good, especially for this era of the Famicom. It controls pretty well, and fighting your way through the stages is fun. There's even a continue code so that you can keep going exactly where you left off. Just hold down A and press start. Seicross isn't really a forgotten classic, it's just a little bit too simple for anybody to want to go back and dig into. It is a solid title though.